We acknowledge that the land on which we live, gather, and exchange ideas is the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Wendat people. Welcome to the Brockville Museum series, Out of the Vault. On this series, we take a closer look at some of the neat artifacts the museum has in our collection. My name is Alice. I'm the Community Program Coordinator here at the museum, and on this installment of the series, we're going to be taking a closer look at something called ephemera in the archives room at the museum. So this is located on the second floor. This is one of our storage spaces here at the museum. The archives room is where we keep a lot of our paper artifacts. Now, ephemera sounds maybe a little bit fantastical, but what ephemera are sort of the documents that we come across in our day-to-day lives. I'm thinking about things like grocery lists. We can even look at receipts, different things like brochures, tickets, all of that good stuff. Now, the neat thing about ephemera is that it's time sensitive. So it's only useful to us practically for a limited period of time. For example, if you bought a ticket to a concert for a Sunday in January, you would use that ticket on that specific Sunday, and then maybe afterwards you might just throw that ticket out. Now, the neat thing is that museums and archives will collect these pieces of ephemera because they're really great examples of social history. So ephemera and any of those types of documents are what we call primary sources. So a primary source is basically first-hand evidence of a historical event. It was produced by someone who was living at that particular time. And it's really useful to us as historians and museum professionals when we construct a story about Brockville. So in this series, I'll be taking a closer look at some of the amazing ephemera we have in the collection. And of course, if you'd like to look at more examples, they're also available on the museum's online database at www.brockvillemuseum.com. Some of the most often collected pieces of ephemera are items from different social and cultural events around the city. The Brockville Museum has a lot of these types of documents in our collection, and of course you can look at more examples on the museum's online database. Now here what I have in my hands is a ticket from the 1926 to 1927 skating season at the Brockville Arena. It was a ticket for a season's pass for ladies skating. It was purchased by a woman named Marguerite Morrison, and just by looking at the ticket we can figure out that she was the 182nd person who purchased a ticket for that season. We can also look at the ticket and find out that a George Morrison was the secretary-treasurer of the Brockville Arena at that time. And as it says on the front, rules about conduct at the arena and so forth can be found on the reverse. So even such a small ticket as this is packed with historical information. We can learn a little bit about the different social conventions that were present in the 1920s by looking at the different rules. For example, I'll read you one of the rules here. I'll read rule number 4, which says that improper language, fast skating, games of any kind, and unruly conduct will not be permitted either on the ice or in any part of the building. So this is quite neat because basically tickets and other sort of ephemera from cultural events can actually be used in our research to build a bridge between the past and the present. So if I was using this ticket as part of research for a history talk, I might look at the social conventions and the rules that are listed on the back of the card and compare them with the rules that are present at the Brockville Memorial Center today. And we can kind of see what has changed, but also what has stayed the same.